Halloween is coming, and that usually means getting focused on the children's costumes. They're focused on it, and we end up being focused on it too. That's not what I'm talking about. I want to talk about the costumes and the Halloween party that you can have behind a closed door with your beloved, although it's not always behind a closed door, as I am about to tell you. One of my favorite scenes from a movie, I don't actually enjoy the movie that much, but I just love how it opens. So in this movie, there's a woman who's sitting at a bar, and she's sitting reading a book and drinking a martini, and a man comes up. He's got a cowboy hat on, and he wants to buy her a drink. She says no. Like, she starts to walk off, and he follows her and grabs her and turns her around and grabs her into this incredible, passionate kiss. And it's just this super sexy scene where two strangers are meeting in a bar, and they come out holding hands, walking out of the bar together, and then they pull up into the same driveway. They have given one another false names and role played being picked up in a bar. It's a super hot scene that I just really love, and it points in the direction that I'm going to go during this Halloween-inspired episode. When we are in our usual roles and responsibilities, more often than not, that does not include our sexual self. And one of the things that role play and costume can do is be a kind of neurological trigger to activate the parts of ourselves that are so happy and free and available in the bedroom. In fact, I knew this one couple where he was really shut down and unavailable for sex, except they both spoke French. They otherwise were English speaking. And when they spoke French, that just allowed him to tap into his sexual self and his manly, erotic nature. I'm also thinking of one of the big personal growth teachers who talks about wearing a bracelet or a hat or something. Well, you can do it in different ways. The way he does it is he puts on a bracelet when he goes out the door to go to work. It has some kind of an inspiring message on it. And all day long, he is driven, ambitious, super focused, and production oriented. And when he walks in the door, the very first thing he does is take this bracelet off, because at home, he goes with the flow. He plays with the kids on the floor. He's not worried about what he's getting done. And he makes a point of being really present with his family, with his wife and his children. And I've always found that super inspiring and a kind of broadening of sexual role play and the way it can work so well, just bringing that out into everyday life. So if you've never done any kind of role play, Halloween is an awesome time to begin. So would you like to be a witch? Would you like to be a seductress? Would you like to be a waitress or a maid wearing a little French maid's costume? Just look at the adult costumes and see which one makes you smile, which one lights you up, which one makes you uncomfortable, which one would you never ever want to be caught in, but actually wonder how it would feel to put it on. So when it comes to role playing, it can feel awkward if it's new. But putting on costumes is a huge, huge help because you look like somebody else. And then the main thing is to let yourself follow the script and express yourself the way the character would that would wear the kind of costume you're wearing. So if you put on a French maid's costume, you're not going to be the one directing what happens if your husband is wearing a suit. He is going to be directing you to bend over a little bit more while you dust that part of the room. If this is new, coordinate your costumes so that they have a kind of obvious relationship to one another, teacher and student, homeowner and maid, doctor and patient. Figure out something that would appeal to you. And just to be clear, this is play. This is tapping into something that most children naturally access when they dress up as kings and queens and princes and princesses or chefs. It's just exploring a part of your nature which generally is unexpressed or perhaps has never been expressed before. Does it mean you're going to want to put on a French maid's costume next time? No. This is about exploration. It's about letting go of control. It's about tapping into something in you that's unexpressed, because let's be very clear. The thing that makes sexual experiences rich and gratifying and better and better and better is the capacity to bring more and more of who you are, body, soul, and spirit, into the sexual encounter and able to share it with your partner. So if you have the whole range of human expression and you only allow a very small portion to be present while you have sex, that's going to be potentially satisfying for some amount of time, and then it's going to get old. Because as human beings, we evolve and grow and develop new aspects of ourselves. And one of the most easy ways to expand your repertoire is to tap into the Halloween spirit, put on a costume, and then behave in another way. And don't worry, this has nothing to do with being inauthentic. It has to do with tapping into something else. And maybe you'll discover that you've had an inner French maid in you all along. And maybe you'll discover that actually you're more interested in role playing and costumes for dom roles. And you want to be the dominant one. And you didn't know that until you tried the French maid's outfit. Of course, there is terrible, terrible misuse of power dynamics in the sexual realm. I really don't need to say anything else about that, except to say that that is a very perverted and harmful twisting of something which actually can be very exciting and erotic and amplifying of intimacy and sexual connection, because fundamentally, some of the most extraordinary sex includes playing with the edginess of power dynamics. So you'll notice that the examples that I gave of the teacher and the student, or the French maid and the homeowner, all of those involve power dynamics. And when there are power dynamics involved, it's easier to get into the role and explore naughtiness, because one of the aspects of sex that can be very fun is tapping into things which would be taboo in our everyday life that actually are very stimulating in the bedroom. So, as always, pace yourself. Don't jump in the deep end, because if you don't know how to swim, that's just not an experience you want to create for yourself. And let me add one more thing. There is no part of me that actually believes that this needs to be restricted to the bedroom. I am all for opening up our human range and our self-expression anytime we are awake. So especially, I think this is going to speak to women approaching and going through menopause, perimenopause. It's like, this is your time. And if you wear flats all the time, start wearing heels. And if you've worn heels, give yourself permission to wear flats. And all of this can be a kind of delightful tease. If you usually just wear some lip gloss, put on some red lipstick and give yourself a wink in the mirror as you walk by. Like, how do you want to seduce yourself and your partner into more expression so that it's not about more costumes, it's about more range of authenticity. But by all means, start with the costumes and a happy Halloween.